Montreal sits on the island of Montreal in the St. Lawrence River, roughly 196 kilometers east of Ottawa and well inside the province of Quebec. It is the largest city in that province and the second largest in Canada overall, with a city proper population of approximately 1.9 million. The metropolitan area extends considerably beyond that count. The city traces its founding to 1642, when French colonists established a mission settlement called Ville Marie, meaning City of Mary. It was later renamed after Mount Royal, the triple-peaked hill that still anchors the city's geography and gives it one of its most recognizable skyline references. That origin shapes everything from the street grid to the linguistic character of the place. Linguistically, Montreal operates as a bilingual city with a French-dominant core. In the central neighborhoods and tourist corridors, English is widely understood. In outer residential districts, that is less consistently true, and travelers who arrive expecting a seamless English experience can occasionally find friction. It is worth knowing a few phrases, or at minimum, knowing that the expectation gap exists. The city is best suited for travelers who want dense European urban texture without the transatlantic flight. The architecture, the food culture, the walkable neighborhood structure, and a festival calendar that runs most of the warm months all read closer to a mid-sized French city than a typical North American one. Food travelers, history enthusiasts, arts and music audiences, and budget-conscious visitors from the U.S. Northeast consistently find strong return on the trip. The weaknesses are worth stating plainly. Winters here are serious, with temperatures regularly dropping to minus 15 degrees Celsius or about 5 degrees Fahrenheit, or colder, and that is not the context for a first visit unless cold weather urbanism is specifically your interest. Summers are genuinely excellent, but that is also when festivals and tourism compress into a short window, driving up accommodation prices and crowding the most popular neighborhoods. For orientation, 4 neighborhoods cover most of what first-time visitors will engage with. Ville Marie is the downtown commercial core. Le Plateau Mont-Royal is the bohemian residential district northeast of the mountain, dense with independent restaurants and street life. Vieux-Port is the old Montreal waterfront, where the colonial-era street plan and stone architecture are most concentrated. Lachine, further west along the Old Canal, carries significant industrial heritage and a quieter pace. The research data tracks around 70 named landmarks across the city, a density that is high relative to Montreal's size and supports multiple days of structured exploration without repetition. Entry is visa-free for most nationalities for stays up to 180 days, and the currency is the Canadian dollar. For U.S. visitors in particular, the exchange rate has historically made Montreal a cost-effective destination compared to equivalent quality cities to the south. Getting to Montreal by air means landing at Montreal Trudeau International Airport, code YUL, located in the western borough of Dorval. From the city center, that's roughly 20 to 25 minutes by car under normal traffic, though the airport sits close enough that even light congestion rarely stretches the ride beyond 40 minutes. There is no direct rail link between YUL and downtown as of this recording. Ground transfer options include taxis, rideshares, or the 747 Express bus. The 747 Express bus runs around the clock and connects the airport to the downtown metro network. The 747 Express bus costs $11 Canadian and 25 cents, which also gives you 24-hour access to the entire metro and city bus network. Taxi starts at around $5 Canadian per ride as of this recording. For U.S. travelers, round-trip flights to YUL typically run $200 to $600 US, depending on origin city and timing. New York area airports tend to come in at the lower end of that range, closer to $200 to $300 US round trip, while cities like Dallas or Atlanta tend to push toward $400 to $600 US. Booking early and traveling outside peak summer or festival periods pulls prices toward the floor of that range. Once you're in the city, a car is genuinely unnecessary for most visitors. Montreal's metro system covers the island well, with 4 lines and dozens of stations anchoring every major neighborhood. Barrie-UQAM functions as the central interchange where 3 lines meet, making it the logical reference point for navigating the network. A single ride costs $3 Canadian and 75 cents, and a monthly pass runs around $104 Canadian and 50 cents if you're staying long enough to make it worthwhile. The metro is frequent, clean, and pairs with an extensive bus network for anything the trains don't reach directly. Walkability in the central neighborhoods is strong. The Plateau, the Quartier des Spectacles, Old Montreal, and the downtown core around Guy Concordia Station are all within reasonable walking distance of each other. The distances between key areas rarely exceed 30 to 40 minutes on foot. The underground pedestrian network, known as the Réseau, also connects major downtown buildings during colder months, which matters considerably if you're visiting in winter. Taxis and ride shares are available citywide. Metered taxis start at $4 Canadian and 75 cents and run approximately $2 Canadian and 5 cents per kilometer as of this recording. So a downtown crosstown trip of 5 kilometers typically lands in the 15 to 20 Canadian dollars range before tip. Rideshare apps operate in Montreal as well and generally track close to metered taxi pricing. Renting a car makes sense only if you're planning day trips outside the island, to places like Quebec City, the Laurentians, or the Eastern Townships. For the city itself, the combination of metro, bus, and foot covers virtually everything. Where you sleep in Montreal shapes the entire trip, and the city breaks cleanly into zones that each serve a different travel style. View Montreal and the View Port sit at the top of the price ladder and the top of the atmosphere ladder at the same time. This is the historic core. Stone buildings, narrow streets, Notre Dame Basilica within walking distance, and the St. Lawrence waterfront a short stroll south. Budget beds here run roughly 88 to 110 Canadian dollars per night currently, with mid-range properties landing between 145 and 200 Canadian dollars. Heritage building boutique hotels push above that ceiling. The trade-off is real. Weekends bring significant foot traffic and noise. Parking is expensive, and the day-to-day neighborhood feel is thinner than in residential parts of the city. For first-time visitors who want landmarks within walking distance and a dense restaurant scene immediately outside the door, it earns its premium. Ville-Marie is the downtown core and the most practical all-around base. Place des Arts, the Montreal Eaton Centre, and the main metro interchange lines are all here. Budget options sit between 88 and 100 Canadian dollars per night. Mid-range between 145 and 175 Canadian dollars, with upscale properties crossing 200 Canadian dollars and climbing from there. The biggest winter advantage in this zone is the Réseau, Montreal's underground pedestrian network, which connects hotels directly to shopping, dining, and transit without stepping outside in cold weather. The honest downside is character. Ville-Marie runs on business traveler energy mid-week, and the streetscape reflects that. It is efficient rather than evocative. Le Plateau Mont-Royal is where Montreal feels most like itself. Independent cafes, street art, and a genuinely residential rhythm define the neighborhood. Accommodation skews towards smaller boutique properties and guest houses rather than large hotel blocks. Budget inventory is limited here, but mid-range options land between 130 and 160 Canadian dollars per night. The proximity to Mount Royal Park is a practical benefit, not just a scenic one. The park functions as the neighborhood's backyard, and the food streets along Avenue de Mont-Royal and Boulevard Saint-Laurent are within easy walking range. The main friction is distance. Old Montreal sits roughly 15 to 20 minutes away by metro or Bixi bike share, so if the historic core is a daily destination, factor that into the decision. Quartier Latin and the Village sit east of downtown and offer the most affordable central inventory in the city. Budget hotels here run $75 to $95 Canadian dollars per night. Mid-range options from $120 to $150 Canadian dollars. And the Zone carries the strongest hostel stock in Montreal. The Barrie-UQAM metro station anchors transit access for this entire area, connecting riders north toward Jean Talon Market and south toward Vieux-Montreal quickly. The neighborhood has a younger, more independent energy than Ville-Marie. Some blocks are less polished after dark, which suits independent travelers more than comfort-focused visitors. Lachine and the outer residential neighborhoods serve a specific traveler, someone on a longer stay, interested in quieter streets and comfortable self-catering. The Lachine Canal Corridor has genuine historical weight as one of the country's early industrial arteries, now converted into a linear park used heavily by cyclists. Hotel density is low, and transit connections require more planning than the central zones. For a long weekend, the decision effectively comes down to two options. Vieux-Montreal prioritizes landmark access and atmosphere from the moment you arrive. Le Plateau prioritizes immersion in the city's day-to-day residential culture. Both are well served by Montreal's Bixi bike share network, which covers the island broadly and makes neighborhood-to-neighborhood movement genuinely easy. All four central zones sit within reasonable metro or bike distance of the city's main draws, so no central base leaves you stranded. I'd treat the zone choice as a question of what kind of city you want to wake up inside, not just sleep in. Montreal punches well above its population weight when it comes to things to do. The city has around 70 recognized landmarks across its core, and the range is genuinely unusual. Gothic Revival cathedrals, Olmsted-designed parks, world record festivals, and an underground pedestrian network that functions as a destination in its own right. The challenge isn't finding things to do, it's building a sequence that doesn't waste transit time. Start with the historic core. Vieux-Port de Montréal is the anchor of Old Montreal's waterfront, a promenade lined with 19th century warehouses that have been converted into museums, restaurants, and activity spaces. Walking the waterfront itself is free, and it's roughly 10 to 15 minutes on foot from most Vieux-Montreal hotels. Paid attractions inside the complex range from the Montreal Museum of Archaeology and History to seasonal boat tours, so budget accordingly. Notre Dame Basilica of Montreal sits a short walk inland from the waterfront and is consistently one of the highest-rated landmarks in the city, with tens of thousands of reviews holding a 4.7 average. Admission runs around 18 Canadian dollars at this time. The interior, done in Gothic Revival style with deep blues, golds, and hand-carved woodwork, is widely considered among the most ornate in North America. Budget 30 to 60 minutes for the visit itself. Book the Auralite show separately in advance. Evening sessions sell out. St. Joseph's Oratory of Mount Royal is the largest church in Canada by dome size, and it functions as both a pilgrimage site and a viewpoint. Entry to the basilica is free, with a small charge for the museum. It sits about 20 to 30 minutes from downtown by metro, and the panoramic views from the front steps over the city are a practical reason to visit, even for non-pilgrims. Mount Royal Park is the city's defining green space, designed by Frederick Law Olmsted, the same landscape architect behind Central Park in New York. It's free to enter. The Kondiaronk Belvedere, Lookout at the Summit Chalet, delivers what most locals consider the best city skyline view available on foot. Plan 45 to 90 minutes depending on how much you want to hike. It pairs well with a descent into Le Plateau Mont Royal on the eastern slope. The Jardin Botanique de Montréal ranks among the largest botanical gardens in the world, with 30 thematic gardens spread across 75 hectares of grounds. Admission runs roughly 22 Canadian dollars for adults at the moment. It sits adjacent to the Olympic Stadium, so the two pair naturally. The gardens are worth visiting from late May through October for peak growth. Budget at least half a day. The Vieux-Port waterfront is also an activity hub beyond just walking. Bixi bikes are available for cycling the riverfront in summer. Paddleboarding rentals operate seasonally. In winter, the outdoor skating rink runs along the water in front of the Bon Secours market. Access to the waterfront is free. Each activity carries its own cost. For performing arts, Place des Arts is Montreal's premier complex, housing multiple concert halls and the Musée d'Art Contemporain. Ticket prices vary widely depending on the performance, and advance booking is essential for major events. The plaza surrounding the complex becomes an outdoor stage during festival season. Jean Talon Market deserves specific attention. Located in the Little Italy neighborhood and accessible by metro, it's the largest outdoor market in North America. Entry is free. Arriving before 10 a.m. gets you the freshest selection of local produce, Quebec cheeses, maple products, and prepared foods. It's a practical food stop, not a tourist simulation. On shopping in suburban districts, Quartier Dix 30 on the South Shore and the major indoor malls like Montreal Eaton Centre and CF Carrefour Laval serve travelers looking for North American-style retail alongside dining. Carrefour Laval is off-island entirely, 45 to 60 minutes from downtown. These are worth knowing about, but aren't core to the city's draw. Montreal's festival calendar is legitimately in a category of its own. The Montreal Jazz Festival anchors late June and early July at Place des Arts, transforming the plaza into a mix of free outdoor stages and ticketed indoor performances. It holds the title of largest jazz festival in the world by attendance. Just for Laughs fills mid to late July, with free street shows and ticketed comedy events across the city. Oshaga takes over Parc Jean Drapeau on Ile Sainte-Hélène in late July and early August. Tickets sell out months in advance. Igloo Fest runs at the Vieux-Port in January and February, an outdoor electronic music event held in sub-zero temperatures that is, by most accounts, a uniquely Montreal experience. The RESO, Montreal's underground city, connects 33 kilometers of pedestrian tunnels to hotels, shopping, metro stations, and food courts. In winter, it functions as a parallel city. It's free to access and worth navigating at least once, even in warmer months. For a single ideal day, start your morning at Jean Talon Market by 9 a.m. when vendors are at peak activity. Pick up coffee and a pastry and take your time. By midday, take the Metro South to Vieux Montreal and walk toward Notre Dame Basilica. If you've booked the Aura Light Show for the evening session, this is your chance to see the interior in daylight first. Spend the afternoon on the Vieux-Port waterfront promenade, rent a Bixi bike to cover the riverfront at pace, and stop at La Grande Rue de Montréal for city views from above if the lines are short. End the evening at the Aura Show inside Notre Dame, then walk to Motivy or another Old Port restaurant for a late dinner. The full circuit covers under 5 kilometers of walking. For a long weekend, the sequence holds together well across 3 days. Day 1 should anchor the historic core, Vieux Montreal and the Vieux-Port in the afternoon, Notre Dame Basilica, and the waterfront in the evening. Day 2 starts on Mount Royal. Hike to the Condironk Belvedere for the skyline view in the morning, then descend into Le Plateau Mont-Royal for cafe culture, street murals, and the kind of neighborhood wandering Montreal does better than most cities its size. If timing works, catch a performance at Place des Arts in the evening. Day 3 heads east. The Jardin Botanique in the morning, paired with a look at the Olympic Stadium exterior. Then back through Jean Talon Market before finishing at St. Joseph's Oratory for the panoramic view from the steps. That sequence covers the city's historic, natural, and cultural layers without doubling back. Montreal's food scene operates at a level that genuinely separates it from most North American cities. It consistently ranks among the top dining destinations on the continent, and that reputation holds across every price tier, not just at the high end. The cuisine identity here is layered. French technique, Quebecois comfort food, a strong Jewish deli tradition, and an immigrant food culture that produces serious Portuguese, Italian, Chinese, and Middle Eastern options within a relatively compact area. The result is a city where a $10 lunch and a $100 dinner can both be worth the spend. The foundational dish to understand is poutine. It is not a novelty or a tourist trap item here. It is a legitimate local staple. Fries, brown gravy, and fresh white cheddar curds, served hot enough that the curds soften without fully melting. Variations multiply quickly once you get into it, with smoked meat, vegetables, or tomato-based sauces swapped in. The other pillar of local identity is smoked meat. Montreal smoked meat is beef brisket, cured and seasoned differently than New York pastrami, served piled high on rye. These two items alone anchor a significant portion of the city's casual dining culture. Pricing currently runs roughly 15 to 25 Canadian dollars for an inexpensive meal and around $100 to $115 for a mid-range dinner for two with drinks. Fast food options generally fall in the $14 to $17 range. A local draft beer sits around $3 to $5 at casual spots, while imported beer at bars runs closer to $9 to $11. Coffee averages around $5 to $6. Those numbers put Montreal in a reasonable range for a major city, though the mid-range tier delivers quality that often punches above its price point relative to comparable meals in Toronto or Vancouver. The geographic concentration of restaurants follows the neighborhood logic laid out earlier. The Plateau Mont-Royal area and Boulevard Saint-Laurent running through it hold the highest density of mid-range and independent dining options, from casual bistros to Portuguese chicken counters to late-night poutine. The Old Port and Old Montreal stretch has a stronger concentration of upscale French and bistro-style dining, where a place like a French restaurant with live jazz in a historic building is a genuine option, not an afterthought. Downtown and Ville-Marie add hotel dining and higher-end steakhouses to the mix, with a few spots in the very expensive tier that cater to business dining and special occasions. Griffintown, a newer residential and mixed-use district southwest of downtown, has developed a smaller but credible cluster of cafes and casual spots over the past decade, useful if you are staying on that side of the core. One practical feature worth knowing about is the Apportez votre vin system. A significant number of Montreal restaurants are BYOW, meaning you bring your own wine and pay no corkage fee, or a very minimal one. The server will open it for you. This arrangement meaningfully reduces the cost of a dinner with wine, and it is worth asking when you book whether a restaurant participates. Government liquor shops handle the quality wine selection and have consistent hours. Smaller convenience stores called dépanneurs carry beer and basic wine if you need something quickly. For breakfast specifically, the city has a developed brunch culture concentrated in the Plateau and Mile End neighborhoods, which are a short metro or taxi ride from most downtown hotels. Hotel restaurants in the core provide reliable morning meals, with the higher-end properties offering full breakfast service, but independent spots tend to offer more character for the same or lower spend. If your hotel is in Ville-Marie, walkable breakfast options exist on the streets around Rue Sainte-Catherine and surrounding blocks, though the density increases noticeably as you move north toward the plateau. The craft beer culture here also deserves a mention because it shapes the bar and casual dining experience more than you might expect. Montreal's local brewing tradition has built an international reputation, particularly for Belgian-influenced ales. Several local brands are legitimately world-class by any standard, and you will encounter them on draft lists throughout the city at very reasonable prices. Brew pubs with strong kitchen programs have emerged in multiple neighborhoods, creating a category of dining that functions as both a beer destination and a serious meal. For value, the Plateau and Mile End deliver the clearest return. Dense concentration of independent restaurants, competitive pricing, and a general quality level that reflects real neighborhood demand rather than tourist capture. Old Montreal carries a premium for atmosphere, and the food quality is frequently good, but you are partly paying for the setting. Downtown restaurants near the convention and hotel corridor are competent and convenient without being the city's strongest culinary argument. The city rewards a short walk or metro ride toward residential neighborhoods, and the food gets noticeably better when you do. If any of these hotels, tours, or experiences caught your attention, I've put links to booking options and more in the description below. Turning to the actual numbers, Montreal sits comfortably below its peer tier among major North American cities, and that's worth stating plainly before walking through the tiers. All figures here are in Canadian dollars at this time, and US dollars converts at roughly 0.73 on the dollar. At the budget end, a solo traveler can move through Montreal on roughly 100 to 130 Canadian dollars per day. That assumes a hostel or no-frills guest house in the 70 to 105 Canadian dollars range, with inexpensive restaurant meals running 15 to 25 Canadian dollars each. Transit tickets come in at 3 Canadian dollars and 75 cents per ride, and a local beer or two runs 3 Canadian dollars and 50 cents to 5 at a dépanneur or neighborhood bar. This tier is genuinely comfortable here, not a grind. The city's free festivals, walkable neighborhoods, and cheap transit mean the budget doesn't constrain the experience the way it would in Toronto or Vancouver. The moderate tier lands somewhere between 200 Canadian dollars and 280 per day. Mid-range hotels run around 130 to 160 Canadian dollars in that range. A sit-down dinner for two at a mid-range restaurant costs roughly 90 to 120 Canadian dollars, including drinks. You're adding a paid activity or two, perhaps a museum or a guided tour, which typically run 20 to 35 Canadian dollars per person. Coffee runs 5 to 6 Canadian dollars per cup at independent cafes, which are plentiful. This is the tier where Montreal genuinely over-delivers relative to comparable cities. The comfortable tier, covering upscale hotels, tasting menus, and private experiences, runs 450 to 600 Canadian dollars or more per person per day. Upscale hotels center around 365 Canadian dollars and climb sharply on weekends or during major festivals. A serious restaurant meal, the kind that earns Montreal its culinary reputation, can push 150 to 300 Canadian dollars per person with wine. That's still meaningfully less than a comparable evening in New York or Chicago. Set against direct alternatives, Montreal undercuts Toronto by a reliable margin, particularly on accommodation and dining. Quebec City is slightly cheaper in some accommodation categories, but offers far fewer options at any tier. New York runs roughly double Montreal's moderate daily rate. Even compared to European cities of similar cultural density, like Amsterdam or Barcelona, Montreal's moderate tier holds up well once the exchange rate is applied. One practical note on transport: a single ride city transit ticket at 3 Canadian dollars and 75 cents covers the metro and city buses, separate from the $11 24-hour airport pass. And the network is dense enough that most visitors outside the budget tier rarely need taxis. Taxi meters start at 4 Canadian dollars and 75 cents with a 2 Canadian dollars and 5 cents per kilometer rate. So short crosstown rides land in the 12 to 18 Canadian dollars range. That math makes the metro the obvious default. Montreal has 4 genuinely distinct seasons, and the gap between them is not subtle. Winters are serious. January highs average around 6 degrees Celsius, or about 21 degrees Fahrenheit, with overnight lows dropping to nearly 14 degrees Celsius, or about 7 degrees Fahrenheit. February is marginally warmer, but follows the same pattern. Snow accumulates. Wind chill pushes the felt temperature well below what the thermometer reads, and the city leans heavily on its underground network of tunnels and heated metro stations to keep daily life functional. Visiting in deep winter is entirely possible, and some travelers find the quieter streets and lower hotel rates worth the cold. Just know what you are signing up for. Spring arrives slowly. March temperatures barely clear freezing at 3 degrees Celsius, or about 37 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, and April, while meaningfully warmer at around 11 degrees Celsius, or about 51 degrees Fahrenheit, brings the highest precipitation of the shoulder months. May is where the season finally delivers. Highs reach 19 degrees Celsius, or about 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Rain days drop to 4 per month on average, and the city visibly exhales. Terraces open, parks fill, and the festival calendar begins to stir. Festival Accès, AC, and Pouza Fest both anchor May, giving the month a cultural density that punches above its tourist traffic weight. Summer is peak Montreal. June, through August, sees highs in the 23 to 25 degrees Celsius range, or about 73 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, and the city hosts its most internationally recognized events during this stretch. The Montreal International Jazz Festival anchors late June into early July, drawing performers and audiences from across North America and Europe. Just for Laughs dominates mid to late July. The trade-off is real. Hotel rates climb, accommodations fill weeks in advance, and the Old Port and Plateau can feel genuinely crowded on festival weekends. Precipitation is also at its annual peak in June, July, and August, with monthly totals regularly exceeding 115 to 130 millimeters. September and October represent the strongest overall value window. September averages 20 degrees Celsius, or about 68 degrees Fahrenheit, during the day with only 3 rain days per month, the lowest of any month in the calendar. October cools to around 14 degrees Celsius, or about 57 degrees Fahrenheit, but rewards visitors with fall foliage across Mount Royal and the surrounding neighborhoods. Crowds thin noticeably after Labor Day, rates ease, and restaurants are easier to get into without planning weeks ahead. For most travelers, weighing weather, cost, and experience density together, late September into mid-October is the clearest-eyed choice. If September is your target window, pack accordingly. Bring a medium-weight jacket, not a heavy coat. Layers are the practical system here. A long-sleeve base, a light fleece or wool sweater, and a water-resistant outer shell covers the full daily temperature swing, which can run from 12 degrees Celsius, or about 54 degrees Fahrenheit in the morning, to 20 degrees Celsius, or about 68 degrees Fahrenheit by afternoon. Comfortable walking shoes with solid grip matter more than anything else, since you will cover real distance on uneven terrain in older neighborhoods. Pack a compact umbrella. Sunblock is still relevant through September, particularly for midday hours outdoors. Leave the sandals at home and bring one warmer layer than you think you need. Montreal's fall weather turns faster than forecasts often suggest. Moving into practical logistics before anything else, U.S. citizens enter Canada visa-free and can stay up to 180 days. A valid passport is all you need, and a Nexus card also works at the border. No electronic travel authorization is required for Americans, which keeps pre-trip admin simple. The currency is the Canadian dollar, running roughly 0.73 to the US dollar at the moment. Card acceptance is excellent across the city, including contactless tap payments at small vendors, food stalls, and many street markets. That said, carrying some cash is useful for smaller food vendors and tipping situations. ATMs are widely available, though most charge 2 to 5 Canadian dollars per withdrawal. Scotiabank machines are part of the Global Alliance network, which means lower or no fees for many international cardholders. Tipping is expected and taken seriously. Restaurants call for 15 to 20% on the pre-tax bill. Bars run 1 to 2 Canadian dollars per drink, and taxis typically get 10 to 15%. For connectivity, Montreal uses Type A and Type B plugs at 120 volts and 60 hertz, identical to the US standard, so American travelers need no adapter at all. Free Wi-Fi is broadly available at cafes, hotels, and public buildings across the city. If you want a local SIM, Fido offers 10 gigabytes for around $40 Canadian per month and is available at the airport. Public mobile comes in slightly cheaper at around $34 Canadian for 8 gigabytes, though activation is online only. For short trips, an Airalo eSIM gives 3 gigabytes for roughly $10 and can be activated before you land. On safety, Montreal is a large city with a relatively low rate of violent crime by North American standards. Property crime is a more legitimate concern, particularly car theft, so keeping valuables secure is genuinely worth the attention. Two residential neighborhoods, Montreal Nord and Saint-Michel, have elevated incident rates, but they hold little tourist draw and are unlikely to be on a standard itinerary. The stretch of Sainte-Catherine east of Place des Arts sees more street-level disorder, especially at night, and some aggressive panhandling in warmer months. Standard urban awareness applies throughout. Shopping is worth a mention because Montreal actually delivers variety without requiring a big budget. Rue Sainte-Catherine carries the major chains and department stores between Guy and Saint Laurent. Avenue Montreal runs toward the eclectic end with consignment shops, used record stores, and independent boutiques. Jean Talon Market is the anchor for food shopping in the North End, while Rue Saint-Viateur packs a dense and genuinely varied stretch of businesses into just a few blocks. The art scene runs deep year-round. Montreal has a well-established circuit of galleries, independent cinemas, and performance venues across multiple neighborhoods. The city is also bilingual in practice, and making even a minimal effort with French, a simple bonjour to open a conversation, is noticed and appreciated. Language and Quebec sovereignty politics are emotionally charged subjects locally, so unless you know the terrain well, they are better left alone. One practical way to offset the cost of a Montreal trip is through travel card sign-up bonuses, and the math here is unusually favorable. Round-trip flights from major U.S. cities typically run somewhere between $200 and $600, with routes from New York and Newark often landing at the lower end of that range. That means a single sign-up bonus can realistically cover the flight entirely and leave money toward hotels. The American Express Platinum Card carries a sign-up bonus worth roughly $1,750 against an annual fee of $895. That net value is substantial, and the card layers in additional credits for airline fees, hotels, Uber, and lounge access through Centurion and Priority Pass. The American Express Gold Card is a lower commitment entry point. The bonus is worth around $1,000. The annual fee is $325, and the 4x earning rate at restaurants worldwide makes it useful throughout a food-focused trip like Montreal. The Chase Sapphire Reserve offers a bonus worth roughly $1,250, a $300 annual travel credit that offsets much of the $795 fee and Priority Pass lounge access. For travelers who fly Delta specifically, the Delta SkyMiles Gold American Express card has a lower annual fee of $150 and a bonus worth around $800, which still covers a round trip comfortably. None of these strategies require elaborate maneuvering. Apply before booking flights, meet the spending requirement during normal trip preparation, and redeem toward airfare or hotels. The credits and perks on the premium cards often recoup a significant portion of the annual fee in the first year alone. Some of the links in the description are affiliate links. Montreal is best suited for travelers who genuinely enjoy navigating a city rather than just consuming it. The bilingual texture, the neighborhood-by-neighborhood variation, the festival calendar that runs from late spring through summer, the food scene that rewards exploration across price points. These are assets that pay off when you put in the time. A long weekend gives you a surface reading. 5 to 7 days gives you the city properly. Travelers who want a relaxed, easy English environment where every interaction is frictionless may find Montreal mildly exhausting. The French first culture is genuine, not performative. And while English gets you through almost everything, the city does not bend toward you. That is a feature for some visitors and a friction point for others. Budget travelers are genuinely well served here. The transit system is functional, the free and low-cost experiences are substantial, and the range of accommodation options is wide. High-end travelers are equally well served, particularly for food. The practical note to close on: May and September are the strongest months for a first visit. The city is fully operational, the crowds are manageable, and the weather sits in a comfortable range without the humidity peaks of July or the hard cold of November onward. That's our guide to Montreal, Canada. Everything mentioned is linked in the description below. If you're planning another trip, we've got more guides waiting for you, and if you haven't yet, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for watching.